Can you give me the right to annotate once? Yeah, thank you. The space in between is interesting. If instead of closing, just a little space here might be interesting. The parent form I feel works the best still. This gap is a little wider here. This gap. So minor changes only would lift it up.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I just want to hear your opinion because I feel like in this one, you can see that the dark as it's moving, so the white space over here I feel is very stronger than over this one.
Yeah.
So
That's why the
I
that's why the three explanations at the bottom look very scattered. They're not coming together. It's not like these three forms they're talking to each other. They don't seem to be interacting. So in first one, it still seems to be interacting. In the second and the third one, they're on their own tangent to me. The parent form is coming together very well. It looks like they are talking to each other.
yes,
Because you very rightly pointed out the negative space in your new explorations is extremely strong. Gives it a very scattered kind of a feel.
yes, ma'am. So I will work on making the parent logo much.
So take both of these forward. But tomorrow we want to take a call on whose logo will be taken forward in which form.
Thank you.
So I've done the iterations of the two form that was selected yesterday. The second one I'm still working on. The first one I've done. So the idea behind the form was using the arch that is representative of the university and making it use of it to show a sort of sense of direction and progress. Uh, and also the negative form is also forming sort of a sense of direction arrow to show the sense of progress. The second one, the idea was using that same curve to show it from thick to thin, so representing some sort of forward thinking and progress. And the gate was an idea of sort of said it was being a center or gateway of someone proceeding in their lives or just making progress on themselves or evolving, just like that.
Yeah, very interesting work. Ankit. Ankit, no?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm actually very happy to see what you've done in 11. So the way you've taken the frontal view of Nirma. I'm not too comfortable with these details here.
Right, ma'am.
But the frontal view is very interesting. I'm not too sure with what you've done today, but maybe this one, this is the parent form.
Yeah.
Yeah. This just stands the strongest compared to. I feel like that about 16 also. I feel like somehow that's more balanced. Yeah. It's still the strongest here. About the 16, somehow I can only see the eye and the eyeball somehow. and an eyebrow. So both are it's like disturbing me. But yeah, definitely in this one, the architecture one, this is still the strongest. I like the subtlety of the arch and the subtlety also of the staircase. It's not so obvious, but it's yet it's there. It's quite interesting. I also like 11 quite a lot without the sculpture in the middle. I like the subtlety there as well. It's got a very strong resemblance with Myanmar.
I think he also wanted to explore 15th, which I thought looked a bit um, booty, but he was very keen to take it forward. That's that you haven't worked on that. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. I didn't get a time for that one,
Okay.
and it is a bit too complicated.
Yeah. I think it's not cohesive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still like your parent forms, and I think that's okay. Like sometimes you have to go forward, do more explorations to realize that what you had was stronger. Like if you want to explore, you want to know that. So it's okay to arrive at this conclusion.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing that I would say in the parent form, it's too light, so I can't see the details. But when you're doing an arch, so maybe the door here, this can also be in the same curve, aligning with what you see here. Try something like this also.
Okay, ma'am.
Just visually, maybe it will.
I think he's done that in this one. He's kind of arched the.
नहीं, I'm not saying इसमें तो इसने frontal arch बना दिया. I'm saying कि ये direction follow करो. So ये direction.
अच्छा, like the perspective arch.
Like the perspective, so that because ये क्या हो रहा है अभी? It is clashing. This is frontal. The door is frontal. The steps are sideways, and the arch is in perspective. So visually it's clashing. In this, the direction is correct. So the arch is also in perspective. The staircase is also in the same perspective. So that curve can also go in the same direction, is what I'm saying. So that will these little details, sometimes make a huge difference. So I think this parent form is still the best. And I quite like this also if you want to explore this. 11.
Okay, ma'am.
Without that sculpture in the center.
Yeah, definitely.
Then when you explore it, you try different thicknesses of the arch and you see how this portion will be, how much thicker, how much wider this will be. All of these things, and when you're exploring, you try some of these things. Yeah, I agree with Hazel when she's saying that this is, and you've not even explored further. This is, I thought, the kind of feeling that it's giving me, like it's some kind of mechanical device. That's the kind of feeling that it's giving me at the moment. But nice ideas, yeah. These two you can, I think, definitely take forward. Hazel, what do you think? I'm not too convinced about 16, but if you wish, you can explore further.
Yes, ma'am.
I think maybe 11 and 13.
Yeah.
I'll take that forward and see if I can fix the 16th one.
I think 16, your parent form is still the strongest.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I think you have very clear directions.
I think, I think 16th is not even the parent form. 9th is the parent form.
Yeah, the idea was from.
Idea,
I thought maybe
idea was from
something
9th, but yesterday he changed the orientation.
Yeah, because 9th is working more. See, because what is happening here? This is generally when you see because the inspiration is architecture. Generally, when you see the architecture of this place, it has an arch like this. Sorry.
But with 9, I feel like it just very directly looks like an eye to me.
नहीं उसमें क्या है उसने वो सर्कल गलत बनाया है टेल यू the way it is no in the original if the circles are here there are 3 circles not even one there are 3 in I think in a row if I'm not mistaken ठीक है अगर if you and I अभी इसलिए भी लग रहा है because आँच का शेप गलत लिया है आँच is not like this this आँच का shape is wrong anyways you have 11 you have 2 ideas to go ahead with let's forget that okay
We are done.
Ma'am, can group 4 go next?
Sure.
Rhythm, can you zoom into the last 3 sets? So, ma'am, these were the 3 that we decided yesterday to go ahead with, and I did some explorations for them, for each one of them. So, I think the 10th one in the first set and the 3rd one in the last set works the best.
Can you see the pairing forms?
Ma'am, the 23rd one is one. The 20th one is the other one. And Rhythm, can you shift a little to the left? And the 3rd one is one.
So, I feel like parent forms like mistakes, one mistake more interesting to me the exploration. And I do like the 10. I think that was a more fun kind of approach. I think you treated as content to it's nice conversation. I quite like
Hazel, your voice is echoing. I think Prachi, you need to put yourself on mute. Prachi, I think you should wear headphones or earphones. At least when you're presenting. I didn't hear anything that you said either.
So I said that the 20th, which is the parent form for the last set of explorations, I thought that was still stronger than the newer explorations. I feel like there was locking there, which was unique and non-infinity like, which was interesting. The 23rd one, it was to indicate progress, sort of like flux and dynamism. It was supposed to be a person cycling away, and that was a very unique, playful approach, which I really liked. And I think from that, the 10th one is an interesting evolution of that form. I think it shows even more kind of dynamism. And what was the other one?
Ma'am, in the last set, the third one.
Okay, I said that. Yeah, okay, I still like the parent form in that. And I think even for the middle one, same. I still prefer the parent form. So which one do you feel like taking forward, Prachi? What do you think?
Ma'am, I like the cycling one, but then I'm not sure if it would be proper to represent an department. So
Yeah,
if it
I'm glad you explored it, but I feel like you have stronger possibilities elsewhere.
so, ma'am, I can take the 10th one or the parent form of the last set.
I think Prachi, you'll have to mute yourself. Can you show me the parent forms again?
The 20th one and the 23rd.
20th and the 23rd. And after one in the middle?
I'm the third one.
I like the parent form of the third one. I think it's still better than what you've done now. I like that angle at which it is there. It's quite interesting. Like you said that, I don't know whether that the man cycling away, how it relates to the department is something I'm also wondering. Well, it's very interesting.
Ma'am, my concept was that I wanted to show that the department or the student of the department is on wheels and he's like moving forward, and that filled up D. It was a filled up D as the body of the person. So that was the idea.
So if you're convinced, please go ahead with it. If you think that that's your idea, you want to present it tomorrow, please go ahead.
Which one do you want to take forward, Prachi? Between the 3rd and the 20th and cycling away, which one do you feel is the strongest possibility?
Ma'am, I'm really confused between the 20th and the 23rd one.
You can take both forward, I think. But I do think the parent form is still stronger in the 20th.
Yes, ma'am, I'll take the parent form of the 23rd.
Okay, then we are done with you. You know what you are taking forward, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Digitize it, work on the logotype, and present it tomorrow.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Next student.
Ma'am, it's Navya here. So after the last class, we haven't decided on anything. So I've tried with the new concepts. So
You
the
didn't
first,
present yesterday, no, Navya?
no, ma'am, I wasn't there yesterday. So in the first page, I tried concepts. In the first one, I tried to show collaboration and growth. So the middle path, curvy part, shows the growth, and the folded ones kind of combines and shows collaboration. Also, when you put it horizontally, the curved part shows NU. In the second one, I again tried the growth and more of outward and near that thing. In the fourth one, I again tried growth and more diversity that we are evolving in all the directions. In the fifth one, initially I was trying with some line, dot, and squares or shapes only. But then when I came up to these horizontal and circles, this is a phonetic language basically, and is distincted towards each letter form. So I have written Nirma with the language.
Phonetic
And
language.
yeah, it is in phonetic, which is used in like coded. Have you seen Razi movie?
Yeah, I think I have.
Or you mean like a Morse code?
What, ma'am?
A Morse code.
I didn't know.
I don't know. I'm not too sure if she's referring to a Morse code.
It's like a
that
coded
thing where
language.
so that's it's dots and dashes and each like
Yeah,
dot and
each
dash multiply. It's
alphabet.
called Morse
Yeah,
code.
yeah. Okay. So I've tried using that because it's very distinctive to each letter from how we speak. So I've tried that, and also to show boldness. In the eighth one, again, I've showed diversity and growth by the distance of the lines in the semicircle. And I was in present yesterday, so I've tried some of the more exploration on the ones I liked in the second page.
I think with things like Morse code, you like how does it work in terms of the brief knowledge? Like, I think you need a concept more.
I made with the thought of distinctive and boldness. So
I get distinct, I'm not so sure about those.
I think a lot of things that you've done on the last page, it has a very strong resemblance with the swastik or sometimes, it also reminds me, depending on the direction, it reminds me of the Nazi. So either way, whether it's a swastik or the Nazi symbol, it's avoidable to take things, all of these are in that same direction, all of these. I agree that I don't know how, while I love the visual language which is emerging from this, all of these, excellent visual language. But I don't know, I'm not too sure how it relates to your page. I'm also questioning that. Of all that I'm seeing in front of me, this 19, if it is is this your page as well?
yes, ma'am.
This I still feel that it may have some potential with the triangle getting constructed and something in a continuous movement. The movement need not break here. So how you do the direction of these open lines is something that you can work on. Basically, it can be explored further is how I'm looking at it. I love the visual language that is emerging here, but I'm not too sure about the concept as well.
Okay, ma'am. I'll explore on the 19th one. I'll figure out on this the last ones.
Can you explain this also?
I've tried to show the growth and like more of outward and evolving thing by the spacing of the lines. Like from the one square, it turns to the bigger square, and the square becomes bigger in that sense.
Yeah, this is also quite interesting. See a possibility here also.
Okay, ma'am. I have made it in this form in a circular way also.
And what is this here?
I have tried to show connections and collaboration, but I don't think I delivered that.
It's quite interesting. I think I see a lot of possibility here also.
Okay, I'll work on that also.
Which ones are you taking forward, Nitin?
I really like the last ones, the phonetic language, but I have to
It's not
figure out.
phonetic. It's not phonetic. Phonetic is when you spell things how you say them. So, for like if you spelled phone with an F, then that would be like phonetically spelling something. But this is like Morse code. What you're talking about.
When I googled it, it shows the phonetic language. So I don't know.
Maybe
I-
Morse
I-
code is phonetic. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I'll check on
I
it
think
again.
it's see visually it's interesting, but I think you need to come up with a far more solid rationale for how it relates to the proof.
Yes, ma'am.
And then which others?
The second one,
Which is the second one?
the one that Kanupra ma'am also marked in the first page, the second one.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that also. Even I like the first one also.
I
For
think
which
let's
I,
narrow it down to three. So one is the Morse code one. Then you said the second one. Which other one?
maybe I can more explore on the sixth one also.
Okay.
So I'll go with these three.
Oh,
Okay, ma'am.
make sure you write a concept note first so you know it's clear in your head. So you're not exploring things randomly. You
Yeah,
get
yes,
the direction to your exploration.
yes, ma'am.
Next student.
Yes, ma'am. Sakshi Shah here. The right two sheets are the explorations of the negative and positive space and the thickness of the line of the uh, two forms which were selected yesterday, which were in the blue.
Which one do you want to take forward, Sakshi?
Ma'am, in the first sheet, the second the middle one, and the below sheet.
Can you annotate?
Can you mark it?
Rhythm, can you mark it for me?
Yes, can you repeat?
The fifth one in the first sheet, which is in the middle, in the last one. No, 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 no. जो दो शीट है ना, हाँ उसके बाजू वाला,
This
the
one
middle one.
that I marked? Or this one?
Yes, ma'am. And in the below sheet, the also the fifth one. Yes, ma'am.
So it's the sixth one, sixth or fifth?
Fifth, ma'am, the blue ones is the
It's
selected
not
one.
counting the parent.
Okay. I think in the first one, I still like your parent form more.
I think just the outer line just needs some weight, but basically the same kind of, even I personally like the parent form more than that. Exposition.
I think the outer lines just need to be a little thicker so that they don't disappear when reduced in size.
I think that's one of the things we talked about yesterday. So try and work on the length of the line.
And in the second one, I think you've come up with some interesting explanations. I especially like the last one, the one which has a dot in the center.
Yes, ma'am, I was going to explore more for that, but I'm still have to do.
So even the one that you've marked is also interesting. Because what is happening in that is that the N in U is not visible. You can also appreciate it independently, independent of N and U. In the other one, N and U, I mean, it's there again, it's very subtle. I mean, I'm okay with any of these. I like both of these.
I think even in that, just try and work on your language actually. You know, that boldness that you want from your logo. I think play around with different languages and see which one works the best. It is the essence of what you're currently doing.
Okay, ma'am, sure.
And have you written out concept now?
Ma'am, I'll write and
You guys really, I've been telling you since yesterday, you really need to write one so you're clear about what you're doing.
yes.
Please write one, Sakshi.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Next student.
Yes, ma'am, Rhythm here. So, this was the form which I explored before, and then ma'am selected this one yesterday. And then these are the new sheets which I explored yesterday. So the first one is the parent form, and the rest of them are the one which I explored.
Which one do you want to go ahead with?
Ma'am, I like the parent form in both of them.
This one is your parent form? This
Yes.
is your parent form.
Oh no, ma'am. The last one is my parent form.
This is your parent form? And in this is your parent form?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then go ahead with this. It's just that in the parent form, make sure that, see, while the linear quality is interesting, but it won't be visible. So you work on the thickness, but try and be as spontaneous as you are. This is very spontaneous. This form is very spontaneous. So keeping to that spontaneity, just work on the stroke weight. And in the second one also, whichever that you like, you take it forward, digitize it, and work on the logo.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
The second one, Rhythm, I do like the parent form. I think try playing around with the thickness of the lines, you know, like a progression. I think some of them look very kind of similar weighted.
Okay, ma'am. I'll do that.
So basically what Hazel is saying is that in each of the square, which is making like a larger square, in each of the square you can have a varied line thickness. Okay, so explore that and present your work tomorrow, but with a concept note. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not too sure about the last option. I'm not very sure about that. It's too linear at the moment. So what you have, the other two are much stronger.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Are we done with this clue?
No, ma'am. I'm left. Prachi here. Rhythm, can you go to bathroom? Yes, just a little bit right. Yeah. So, ma'am, these were the three parent forms that I selected with Hazel ma'am yesterday, and I've explored them further.
What's your concept for each one of these?
Yes, ma'am. So the first one, the concept is that the small elements are like a metaphor for ideas. So each of the elements have different shapes, which says that all the different ideas come together. They have their own space to flourish and germinate, but still have an umbrella of the square boundary. And yeah, that's what unites them. For the second one, it came from a previous idea which had didn't kind of go a bit left on my previous sheets. Yeah. So
Yeah, I remember that.
yes, ma'am. So I evolved from that, and for that the idea was that the institute is very radical, and the starting word was avant-garde. So, like you suggested in the previous discussion, that I should focus on the steps part, and that's how this idea has emerged. Rhythm, can you go right on the current sheet? On the current sheet. Yeah. And for the last one, I took the existing arrows of the existing 9 square logo and I kind of played around with that. And after yesterday's discussion with ma'am suggested that I highlight the negative shapes in the negative spaces as well. So I haven't finished exploring this one yet. I'm still working on it. But yeah.
Yeah, very interesting exploration, I must say, Prachi. Very, very nice. I still like the arrows which are there in the parent form. I like that energy that, it's not exactly symmetrical. That energy is what is holding this logo together. You can explore this asymmetrical approach in the arrows instead of going symmetrical. That's what I feel. The parent form is still better than the rest of the explorations. And I like this rationale of yours when you say that these are little ideas, germination of little ideas coming together. Form-wise, I feel that one second, could be the right one. One possibility which you haven't tried, while it is enclosed in a box, still it can give a feeling of openness. Like, for example, if this was your square, if this is your square, so I'm saying this portion, if it goes here, so basically this and this joins. What is this portion doing? It is actually giving it a very tight, closed look. So if this was to be there at the bottom, here like this, and this is a rectangle and this is a separate square, then the openness will increase. So the idea is coming in. But right now what you've done is you've closed it from top, so it's giving you a very constricted kind of feeling. So that's one thing that I felt when I looked at all of these. I felt that maybe if this is here at the bottom, it will give it a more open kind of feeling. About the steps, again, I think it's a very interesting exploration. I like the whole playfulness of it. But somehow it is reminding me of Lego also.
So, ma'am, Hazel have also said yesterday that it reminds her of the ikat weave.
Yeah, Ikat also. This to me looks
I
like
thought the idea of weaving was very powerful because you know how like a warp and a weft have to come together. So the idea of like different directions, different perspectives coming together to make a whole, which is why I really like that idea.
yeah. So visually, I felt even though this is a little scattered, because I don't like the symmetrical approach in this.
Actually, I have marked the wrong one. The one next to it is what I like the most.
The why? The why?
The 57th one, yes, ma'am.
57th concept is the Bikilina.
The extreme last one on the sheet.
This is forming a very strong Y actually.
Okay.
And this is not forming anything. I like this also because it's not as symmetrical as either this, and this is too obvious. This one's too obvious. This one's too obvious. Even this one's too obvious. Here, leaving this, this seems to be a starting point, and then there is a path which is emerging. So visually, I like these two more. This one and this one. Even this one, you know, the middle row, I think I like more.
I think the ones which are slightly more ambiguous than relatable forms are more interesting.
I think you have some very strong ideas to take forward. Take all three of them. Now you're digitizing. But when you
Actually, yesterday when we spoke about just that shifting that arrow down to the baseline and just trying that one quick possibility, I think just try that. Just to see.
I did try that. So the first one in that in the explorations, today's explorations, is that I have just removed the connecting lines, nothing else.
No, don't remove the connecting lines. I think that was the so basically like the entire thing, but just shift it to the one.
Okay, I'll surely try that. Okay.
okay, so you have three very strong options to present to the class tomorrow.
Okay.
Go ahead and finalize this now.
Ma'am, I'm just confirming. So for the first parent form, what you mean is I break the square boundary, right? I don't constrict myself with it.
I'll put it very simply for you. What is happening right now, at least to my eyes, that this seems to be blocking the energy. So if this was to go down like this, वो फ्लिप हो जाएगा और नीचे आ जाएगा और जो तुमने नीचे किया है वो तुम ऊपर कर सकते हो. So that allows more energy to flow in.
Okay.
That's what I think. That's what I feel that it is restricting at the moment.
Okay, I understand.
Try some of these options, and I think tomorrow you will have a concept note. Write a concept note for all three of them.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next.
Ma'am, so Shubham is also part of the group, but he would not be able to join. He has mailed you the reason.
Yeah. This is Shubham's work.
This is Vishesh. Vishesh is facing network issues, I think. Vishesh, are you here? Yeah, he's facing some network
So
issues.
he is later. Let's move to the next group.
Thank you, ma'am.
Are we looking at the fourth group or the fifth group now?
We're done with 3, 5, and 4. Who wants to go next? Group 6.
Yes, ma'am. I'll share my screen. Ma'am, is my screen visible? Yeah, so after yesterday discussing with Hazel ma'am, the first form I had shown how I exhausted the first form, and we had selected the first two ones, but the negative spaces between the diagonal stroke was too less. So when it would be scaled, when it would be scaled down, then it would be look like a diagonal blob. So I decreased the number of strokes and increased the negative space and made it in a proper grid. And for the second one, also we had selected the square one, and it was the same problem of scalability. So I tried simplifying that form, and by removing the triangles and adding a stroke, I did this. But after making those strokes, I got the idea of it was very resembling to the swastik. So then I tried that in the swastik form, and also swastik symbolizes prosperity. So I tried to combine those elements with that.
You know, this form, I remember seeing it earlier also. I remember having that discussion that it's too vertical, so try it in square. I think the square version I'm seeing now, this one, these three, they have so much energy which is lost here in all of this. I'm pretty sure you reduce it in size, it will not lose its glory. I'm pretty sure. It is fine the way it is.
The left ones, ma'am, the one you have to.
Yeah, just that these smaller spaces somewhere you have to just manage the smaller spaces.
Yeah.
By shifting the circle, that's it. Or maybe make some of these hollow. Or somewhere you can add a semicircle if not the whole circle. But the energy which is there in all of these is so brilliant. This is completely lost here.
Hmm.
And
the lines are just making it too delicate. You know, like
Yes, ma'am.
the whole point was to take the shapes forward because there's so much excitement there.
Yeah, till the third one I realized that, so that's why I tried one with the triangles, but again it was becoming very static.
it also, what's your name? Sorry, Gitika.
Gitika, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Gitika.
Please try and avoid using religious symbols.
Yes, ma'am.
For an institution. We are an inclusive institution. So you can't use religious symbols to represent an institution. So swastik has a very strong association with Hindu culture. Okay, so some things like, and this is something that you have to remember also for future.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything which reflects a strong political orientation, anything which associates strongly with religion. For organizations like an educational institute which is supposed to be inclusive and is inclusive, you must avoid using such strong already existing symbols which have a very strong connotation attached, inclined towards a specific religion. So that's avoidable.
Okay, ma'am.
Coming back to your exploration, really happy with what you've done. These three I still feel are very interesting. In this, you can try a different direction also. I mean, just flip it and see how it looks, both of these.
Yes, ma'am. I tried that yesterday, but ma'am also suggested that left to right one is more efficient than the option where I flipped it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So
that's
take
where
both of
only
these.
did.
Yeah,
Okay.
take both of these forward. I would say just that these little spaces which are getting created near the circle, you can bring it into semicircle there. And when you reduce it, I think that problem of your linearity will go away. I mean, you will be able to tackle
Okay.
the same the problem in the smaller size.
Okay, ma'am.
And you can take Hazel's viewpoint also on this.
Yeah, I think your explorations were much fun with it. I think you got it.
But very nice work, huh?
And I mean, I'm talking about the second former, not the first one.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think the first one we talked about reducing the number of lines, working on the gaps. I'm very happy to see that you've done that. I think you've come to a pretty finished form in the first one. In the second one, I think the only thing that you had to kind of take care of was that, where the circles are kind of touching the squares. Just that part should get so delicate that that this line starts to break.
Okay.
But otherwise, all your bolder shapes are going to translate fine. I think just reduce it and see. See that if your shapes are retaining their integrity. Like it should start looking like little blobs, basically.
Yeah.
But great work.
Ma'am, so in the first one, which one should I take? In the first form, the vertical and the horizontal, or both the horizontal ones? I'm quite confused yesterday.
Which first form?
In the first form, on the second page, the first and second for the first form.
Oh, okay. I think both are nice.
Yeah.
Both are quite interesting. You decide. I'm presenting with the concept too, not to.
Okay, ma'am.
I like the second one more, but I think both are equally. They're competent, I would say.
Okay, ma'am, I'll present both of them tomorrow then.
Both as in you present one, this option and this option.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Next student.
Ma'am, so after discussing with Hazel, ma'am, we came down to these two options. Gitila, can you zoom in? So for the first form, I explored the width and the solid part and everything. So these are those explorations that I have did. I also explored. I have also tried the placement of the quadrants and to check if something interesting forms are forming or not.
Which one do you like, Manusha?
Ma'am, in second row, I like first and second, like where I have played with the thickness of the lines.
Yeah, I think this one maintains the integrity of your parent form. And at the same time, I like the fact that you used lines of varying thicknesses. I find this one the most interesting. I think again, you have to see, how it works in reduction. Like, if there's too many lines, is the white space going to get lost? Are the lines, is the last line to fill? So I think these are some of the details that you have to work out.
Yeah, so ma'am, as we can see, in the third row, the third one, I have used many lines, but the one which you have annotated in that, I have reduced the number
I see that. I see that.
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
No, I think what you marked is fine because there is the minute she moves from thin to thick, no, it just gives a very interesting uniform progression to the form. So whenever line thickness is same, it makes it a bit static. Yeah, but the way she's treated all these forms, while the overall form has a lot of dynamism to it, but it further gets accentuated in the one that you marked because of the thickness and the thinness.
Nice explorations.
The stones. In this, I like the explorations, the subtlety of this one, but Again, I mean, it is not the arch of Nirma. To me, this is the arch of Nirma. अभी तो मुझे वो किसी मॉन्यूमेंट का दरवाजा लगा. That's what
Yes, ma'am. The parent form that one was very narrow. So like Hazel ma'am told me that it is not representing the Nirma's art.
yeah.
Then I tried to.
And also एक उसमें एक option ये try करो, like supposing this is your arch of Nirma, जो मैंने red में बनाया है इधर. So you don't need to have like a darwaza here. This is an arch, which is in itself is a gateway, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So do you want to have like steps here outside of it? Do you want to have steps outside of it is my question. And then subtly going inside and then leaving it, not taking it to like that point where it disappears. Maybe just a few of them. A hint of it might work.
I'll try
Or
that.
another thing that you could try maybe is that if you want to take steps inside, but then take steps inside maybe to the top and end. But it's inside the arch. It's not leading to this door because it's already a door.
Yes, ma'am.
So try some of these options. Otherwise, what you have is very interesting.
Okay.
I'm actually, you know, why I'm also insisting on some of these identifiable forms because everybody's taken an abstract route. We must have some visual variety also. Okay, so try to explore this and see the possibilities of this.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, is Mohil here?
Mohil, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was trying with the cube and maze idea. I was trying to fuse it, but the first and second didn't work out. So I just moved on to the 64th one. So I just kept exploring the cube idea. I wasn't trying to make it too complicated, although I think 68 went a bit complicated and 66 went a bit complicated. And I realized that a maze has to complete. There should be a starting point and ending point with it. There was no, the maze was not, you cannot be the maze in 64, 65, 66. So I just try to make a maze which you can complete. So I think 72 can be complete and 73 can be complete. But I think I can refine the form when I'm doing it more precisely if it is fine. And for 74, from 74 onwards, I was trying to take forward the new idea, which looks like a bird. I didn't like I was trying to do certain inspirations and I didn't like the 76 one. It didn't come out right. And from 77, I took forward the idea from the previous page. So I played with the different line weights. Yeah, from font style to use.
I think your explorations with the cube and maze idea are quite interesting. And even though 69 is quite simplified, I quite like it visually, and I feel like it alludes to different dimensions, that's different perspectives, and the idea of something winding it out. So I quite like this in terms of idea and execution. And I think you've tried to play around with the weight from the NUJ. And I think the 78th one, where you reverse the stress of the end. I think visually I quite like that. I feel like these two are quite balanced. Actually, even the 70th one is quite interesting. Where you have this little dot. The word option isn't what we talked about, right? I think that form is different from the ones we talked about yesterday. And if you, what do you think?
I think that in the cube idea, he should, whenever if he's exploring it, he should just avoid, an, you know, a strong resemblance with an alphabet, which might be happening in 69
Strong resemblance in?
with any alphabet. If
Okay,
it is not
yeah.
your intent, you know.
Yes.
So what is happening here in 69 is it is going to form a very strong S.
Yeah.
And if that is what something that you didn't intend, then you should avoid that form.
Okay.
This 70 works for me for a simple reason that while it is in a cube, it is also forming like an upward arrow.
Yeah.
This is complementing this top part. And this is also, giving it a balance, a visual balance. It's pretty symmetrical that way. So in your case, the symmetrical approach seems to be working.
Okay.
However, I like the asymmetrical approach also, but in some of these, I'm just seeing an alphabet, you know. So wherever you can break away, like 66, there is no alphabet which is getting formed. So I like this.
Okay.
Clearly, it looks like a maze where you are entering from one point and you can exit from the other.
Yeah.
So if that is the thought, like here it is forming like an R.
Yes.
So
yes.
don't try and avoid those alphabets getting formed is what my whole idea is. 66 and 70 I like in both of these. बाकी नीचे मुझे नहीं समझ में आ रहा. These look like hands to me. Protection.
Yeah, that was just like a backup idea. But then from 77 onwards, I think I sourced that idea before.
I'm not too sure about the NU approach, but if you want to present, you may do it tomorrow. You can take forward 78 as Hazel has pointed out. But I like that cube idea with the maze in between. That's something that I quite finding it quite interesting. 66 and 70, I like both of them.
Sure, thank you.
I think I like the way yesterday I felt like we were a bit stuck, but I feel like we've been able to resolve the cube idea, which is nice.
Yes, ma'am. I was stuck. It took a long time to get to this.
I think it's paid off. I think you're headed towards a strong direction. So I think like Anupriya said, 70 or 66, you can definitely refine them.
Sure, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you.
You are not very clear. Can't really hear you very clearly. I don't know if Hazel you can or not. I'm not able to hear at all.
It's a bit local.
So we can see, we can clearly see that Ankit, you have done a very good job, excellent explorations. I absolutely appreciate your effort. For me, honestly, this one and this one, they've seen the show. Both of these, they're very powerful. The only thing is this in this, the middle one doesn't have the Nirma arch. The Nirma arch is like this. So that I would suggest that you stick to the shape of the arch.
I think
I like
got
this
the shape
approach
of the arch much more is one is when you have it. Like that's more of the arch that's for.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to take this approach, of a pathway leading to that arch, then keep it subtle. Like, how do you make it subtle? You don't have to have all these lines. You can remove these lines from the sides. Okay, just these horizontal planes also will give the same suggestion. And if you move a little from thick to thin, right, will give you the same suggestion. It is too, I would say, prescriptive at the moment. इसको सजेस्टिव रहने दो आप यहाँ से भी हटा दो ये लाइन Understanding, Ankit? Ankit is not there. Okay. Yeah, I love what you are doing, Ankit. It's very nice, excellent. Just this proportion is correct. I like it without these also because clearly it's communicating a very strong idea. But if you want to try one, but try to remove these lines on the sides and go from thick to thin. Okay? And this is fourth is I think complete in itself. I love it. Absolutely love it. I'm not too sure about these. The top view. But for the top view, the minute you said, it's forming a human figure, an I, an alphabet I. So I started thinking about what is the job of an institute or any educational institute. The job is to develop strong individuals. It's basically to strengthen the sense of self. It's about bringing out the individuality of people. It's about building the strengths of each individual. So the minute I see that letter I is about me, I. I'm not saying I as a letter I, I'm saying I, me. So the whole thing of developing individuals, developing strong personalities started to tell me a story. So for that reason, I started, top view still doesn't make at the moment much of a sense to me, but the minute I see that alphabet I, it starts to tell me a story quite differently, maybe from what you thought. I'll leave it at that. So I think three strong ideas.
Yeah, can now. What were you saying? I personally think the first and the third one are stronger ideas. I don't know what Kanpriya thinks.
I was away. Did I miss something? Maybe?
I think he was asking that should he go ahead, or which idea should he go ahead with. So I said that the first and the third I thought were stronger than the second one, but we were wondering what you thought.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he can narrow down to two. Absolutely. Not an issue. Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, ma'am. So I'm Rudra. I further explored what Rachel ma'am suggested yesterday to explore in the form of that Chakedi one. So also I explored with radii manipulation and different types of lockups with horizontal and vertical. Also I tried a slightly angularized square by making it a diamond shape under it. Also, in that second idea, I also explored that DOD one, in which the outer form signifies the T, and also the inner circle gives an idea of the T inside it. So it can read it as the DOD in that negative and positive space.
Yeah, nice explanations, Rudra. That idea, your initial idea, in fact, I like the simplicity of your first initial parent form, which I saw 2 days back.
Yeah. So, ma'am, you weren't there, so I would like to explain that I took forward the nail idea one, and yesterday's Kanupriya ma'am suggested that it was not deliberate, but one of the query form got at the initial level. So she suggested that I can add maybe little bit of a playful element in my logo. So it can also connect to a nostalgia or something or it resembles to signifies a design element into it.
Basically, it started when the orientation was changed, it started resembling a pinwheel, and the idea of movement and dynamism within that. So then he started exploring that. But Rudra, I think the curve is still too much. We talked about a very, very subtle curve. I think this one's become too much.
I think what he's trying to achieve here is like a cogwheel, is it?
Yeah, like a pinwheel. You know the one that the balloon sellers have? Those. So the idea of bringing in movement and dynamism with that.
I like the playfulness.
Sorry.
Carry on.
No, I was just saying like the other orientation which you haven't tried, the orientation that was there before. I think the stability of a square came across much more clearly.
Oh, yeah, ma'am. Okay. So I'll explore that.
Go on.
So, can I see the parent form once?
Yeah, Deepika, can you just?
Just
Yeah,
stay
from the
here.
fourth one
Stay,
on
stay,
the
stay, stay.
parent.
So, okay, you were saying that the third one is forming with the alphabet T. Is that so?
No, ma'am, the fourth one. So the idea was from the fourth one. The fourth one is the parent form.
Okay. Yeah, it's quite interesting. I mean, even without the pinwheel, it's quite interesting.
I think
It is still getting that
curvature
feeling
is
of
already coming in the fourth one. The very slight curvature, you already had it. So I think the parent form is still the strongest.
Okay.
I was just saying make it intentional.
Okay, ma'am. So now, what you're saying is I should try it in the square form, right?
Square,
instead
I
of
don't know. I
diamond.
like the, I don't know. Honestly, you can take results and constances. I still prefer the one which is linear because what is happening is this transforms into this, transforms into this, into this. So there's a continuous movement which it shows. Every time the orientation changes. That was that I felt was the beauty of it. स्क्वायर तो बहुत सारे लोगों ने स्क्वायर फॉर्म्स बना लिए ऑलरेडी दिस इज यूनिक आई थॉट इट्स मूविंग लाइक अ व्हील but both of you can decide. I mean, I'm okay with it.
I think you can make both forward because it's not going to be difficult to digitize this. Right?
Okay, ma'am. Sure.
And in the last one, I still feel like your parent form is stronger. Due to the kind of composition that you have there, I think it's getting lost in the translation of it, in the explorations. Here, the proportions were very interesting. It's like you just had to add some, shape and weight to basically have the middle form be negative and then just add shade to the other two forms. But anyway, I think the first one is the stronger one for sure, even in terms of idea and execution.
Okay, so ma'am, in the first idea one, I'll digitalize both that square and vertical lock of one, and in second one, I will digitalize that one.
Second, this is your second idea. I didn't get that.
Yeah.
Can you go to the last sheet that you? So this is the parent form that is the eighth one.
Ma'am, should I move to the last sheet?
Yeah, can you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this is also quite interesting. Yes, it's quite interesting, especially like the first idea. I don't see when you're doing these explorations. No, you always keep the parents form side by side. This is very interesting to me, at least. I like the circle not getting completed and still forming a D. D. There are two D's in this. DOD. Basically, I see the DOD. Even if you don't tell anyone it's DOD, just fine as a. It holds together very well.
I think what I was saying yesterday was you can get, in the parent form, you can get rid of this line and basically just have this inner circle forming that the negative space. Because in your parent form, that is a possibility.
Show the parent form.
Can you shift? Yeah.
Hazel, can we see all the students before lunch today? Is that possible? So that they all get time to work post lunch? Because tomorrow,
I think so.
Yeah, because I think the speed is quite good. We'll be able to do everybody by 1 o'clock.
I think we finished half anything. I mean, with some students, not having shown.
Those students, the ones who are remaining, we can take them maybe later.
Take them.
Which is your parent form? I didn't get it. Can you just mark it?
This one.
Oh, okay. So what is it that you want to do with this? What are you suggesting, Hazel?
No, I'm just saying, even yesterday I said to just add shade to this part and to this circle. And that would actually just complete the entire form. We didn't need this line. This line I thought was not necessary.
Which line? This line.
Trying to mark the blank. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, try that. I can present all three of these ideas tomorrow. Okay? Because you won't take long to make it digitally also. And with the logo type. And a concept note.
Yeah, ma'am.
Concept note पहले लिखा होना चाहिए so that you quickly read it out to us.
We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, actually, I'm like working on it. I have started with something, but I think I have to reframe it. So, like, yeah, I'm working on it.
Okay, wonderful. Good going, Rudra. Good work.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next student in the same group.
Ma'am, this is Priya here. So in the first form, you asked me to do some explorations, which I did yesterday, but it still looked like the parent form is the same. So yesterday, Hazel ma'am suggested that I should make the edges a bit blunt. So in the first exploration of that, I did that. And in second one, I was trying to experiment what if I leave the two ends a bit edgy and make others blunt, but I accidentally reversed the slope of the inside. So I realized it just now, so I might need to remake it. In the second one, I thought the idea was to show design in the most simplistic way, but ma'am suggested that it looked more like art, kind of a logo and a bit delicate. So I tried adding some line weight, but to me it still looks delicate and doesn't really resemble with the idea of Design Institute. In the third one, the idea was that the staircase that takes a level deeper, like the deeper understanding and the deeper meaning of design. So that was the idea, and I've done some explorations. In the last line, I've tried to add the spiral of staircase according to the golden ratio, along with some different line spaces. So that's what I've done.
Nice. This is very nice what you've done here. Ideal.
Thank you, ma'am.
Very well balanced form. You know what when I'm seeing this, no, this looks like a floor lamp to me. And if this is a floor lamp, then maybe you can add like a right here, and in that space you write designs. Maybe just for the sake of exploration and have some
Yes,
fun.
ma'am. I'll do it.
Just for the sake of having some fun. Please do this.
Okay, ma'am.
I want something different appearing from so many things that we've been seeing.
Sure, ma'am.
But the last one, it looks so complete. It's just I'm not too sure about the gaps in between. Maybe you'll have to check it.
I need to increase it because when we'll tone it down to a smaller size, it will disappear. So I need to increase that.
Take a print and take a call.
Sure, ma'am.
Even the parent form, as I say, it's very interesting. As it is. As it is, it's very interesting. तो दोनों को फाइनल करो. बीच वाले सब गड़बड़ हो गए कुछ. पता नहीं क्या हुआ. First, the last is interesting.
Okay, ma'am. And ma'am, what about the first one? I don't know.
वो मुझे नहीं समझ में आता. Seriously, वो ST लग रहा है उल्टा सीधा. I don't know. I'm seeing NU and I'm getting biased now. Honestly,
Okay, ma'am.
if you ask me. But इसमें अगर आप मुझसे पूछोगे तो मुझे ये interesting लग रहा है because the three-dimensionality of the whole thing. It looks like there is somewhere you can enter from.
Okay, ma'am.
But I don't know. I'm not a fan of this, honestly. Maybe I.
So I'll take the three one last.
I think the third one, I really appreciate how much you explored it, like you tried various things, and then what you arrived at for me is very strong. So I think this you need to work out in terms of you already said gap and basically how will it work in reduction. Is the dot going to get too small? Is the last triangle should maintain its integrity? It should become a blob also. So I think this you just need to work out the details. I still like your parent form. I'm glad you explored it because then we can go back and say, Chani, this one's still the strongest, right? So yeah, I think there's something about that. I think both of these you can take forward. I think these two are the strongest for me here. I would just stick with these. And I think Kanupriya wants you to explore the floor lamp one.
Okay, ma'am. I'll explore all and.
So that is just for having some fun. The serious explorations will only happen here. Okay. So the third idea is the strongest. That's just to have some fun. So do it. You also have some fun while doing it.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, Kanishka said that she will show in the second half.
Second half we may not see only. Because we want it to work. Doesn't matter, we will move to the next student without wasting any time. When she joins, we'll see. Quickly next student.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, can group 7 share?
Bethany, are you here?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yesterday we selected this. We selected the 3 forms on that. So since you said that maybe after scaling it down, the compartments might not be visible. So I tried adding more negative space to it and tried different variations in that. Then in the concept B, I tried to make the lines more thicker and tried different variations in that such that it's more visible if it's scaled down. And in the concept C, I tried variations in the vertical strokes, like I tried making them of the same size and making it different, like at angles and everything. So I tried with that.
I think you have some very strong possibilities. What do you feel like going forward with?
Sorry, ma'am, can you repeat? I was not able to hear you.
I'm saying you have some very strong possibilities. What do you feel like going ahead with? If you were to narrow it down to two,
Ma'am, I was thinking about the concept B and C because I like the concept A, but I am not sure if it's working when I am scaling it down. So I'm not sure about that. But I think if concept B and C are can be possible, like it will look good if it's scaled down, even if it's scaled down. And I think even the concept is nice and strong.
I personally really like the weight you have in A. I think that that boldness of that circle, and I still like the the side where you cut it, like the side where it's kind of joining back what we talked about initially. Like I'm glad you made other explorations, but I still feel like that one is the strongest, where it's coming full circle like this.
Yes.
To me personally, I feel like A and C, because I don't see the point in taking A and B forward, because I feel like they're similar approaches in that both are a circle and both have sort of disjointed parts. Yes, for me personally, I like the boldness of A, so I would say A and C. But I actually leave it up to, I think, Kanupriya.
Actually, I have a very funny take on her options. The first one looks like the accordion to me. You know that music instrument, the accordion.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's reminding me of that. The second one is reminding me of a wheel bearing. Okay, very strongly of a wheel bearing, because the earlier option, the first option that you showed, where the lines were thin, you only had to work towards thickening those lines a little, and not digitally but spontaneously. That I felt has gone missing, because it has a very strong resemblance.
I think maybe there's too bigger, like now that you say it, maybe I think what is lost is that I think in the counter, like there's too much of a gap. Initially, like you were closing in on it. I think what ended up happening in reducing the lines is that you created this like gap in the center.
Yes, ma'am. I'll try something more.
You Google how a wheel bearing looks like. You'll know what I'm saying.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm just, I can't unsee it now. अब मुझे बार-बार वही दिख रहा है. But anyways, I must appreciate your effort. You worked very, very hard. These are good explorations. My favorite is option C. You can go ahead with any of these. I
personally think they're all very strong explorations by day, so maybe leave the wheel bearing. Go with the other two.
Yes, ma'am.
Whatever you decide.
Ma'am, the one you are saying about wheel bearing, I feel like I've seen it as a central logo.
Yeah, that also. Central logo.
I think the central logo, to be honest, is different.
It has a C.
It's supposed to be a game. Yeah, and it's supposed to be that, that again, that the Fuga walas, they used to sell those games where you have to get the ball in the center. I think that reference is to, because I worked with those people, so I know that what's happening.
Yes, ma'am. I'll carry forward concept A and C now.
I mean, if you can do something about the way you treat the lines, this is a strong idea. But for me,
can I take over 3 if I want?
Yeah, C is very good. I mean, I love the 19th, especially the 19th option. The parent and the 19th.
Ma'am, that's basically the same. Little only just refined.
I think the problem with her is that, like, from the beginning, her explorations were so good that she didn't know how to take it forward. So, like, they were pretty finished to begin with. So, I think after a point, she just had to start looking at nuances. Like, she had really strong explanations from the get-go.
Okay. You know what to do with it.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I'll carry forward the three, all three.
Carry forward all three.
Thank you, ma'am.
Present with the concept notes. You have to
Yes, ma'am.
convince your class, not us.
Yes, ma'am.
We are already sold.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, Kriti here. I tried this. This was my parent form and
Nice.
ma'am, till 13th, I tried the exploration and 11th, 12th and 14th are different.
You didn't go yesterday, right, Kriti?
No, ma'am. I was not well there for before, so I was doing some.
Which one do you like?
Ma'am, parent form and fifth one.
Okay. I also like the parent form and the fifth one. It's visually quite interesting, both of these. वो थोड़ा गणेशा के ट्रंक जैसा हो जाएगा. Fifth वाला breaks that mold.
Okay.
नहीं, वो गणेशा का ट्रंक ऐसा होगा. Sorry. ये उल्टा है, ये भी कर सकते हैं.
Yes.
Nice, I think concept note. Even this 11th is interesting.
Yes, ma'am. I tried to show a collaborative and cohesive nature of the department. So,
good.
It
Write a
looks like,
concept note.
yes, ma'am. I have something more to show. Can I? Ma'am, I tried these. Here also collaborative nature and C dot represents loading and one single dot is like connectivity between the two and coming up with a new idea, something like that.
I think you have better ideas of the other things.
I think these are a bit safer, Kriti. I think the others are strong.
So should I go with fifth parent form and 11th one?
Even fifth, 11th parent form, yeah, these you can finalize now and present tomorrow with the concept note, huh?
Yes, ma'am. Gargi, are you here?
27th frame.
27. This one?
Fourth. No, it's greener. Fourth row. Fourth column.
Who's presenting now?
Ma'am, I presented last. Kriti.
No. Who's presenting now after Kriti?
Ma'am, Gargi.
Preeti, can you press the hide highlights on changes because it's showing pink on some of the images?
There it is.
In the bottom. In the center.
One second. Where is? Oh, okay, I'll do that.
Gargi, are those yours?
Yes, 20 last one, 27th.
Yes.
So ma'am, I did the exploration which you like selected this two.
Is this first one your parent form?
Ma'am, I have made it a little bit thicker, but yeah, it is like
I still love the parent form. I mean, that's the first one.
yes, ma'am.
This can be a little more thick. I just like the whole difference of scale. Like a D is quite small, and then it's something which is continuously forming, and then there's an outer space, so space to grow basically. So it gives me that kind of a feeling. I like that the other day also. I love your first idea. So does this have to be either letter D, or it can be something else, also something that you can think about? But first, I think it's very nice. I think you should now take it. First and fifth, both I love, both of them. मतलब जो तुमने पहले किया था initially वही best है.
Okay, ma'am.
I mean, you take Hazel's feedback also on this.
I like 4 and 6. But yeah, I mean, I think your ideas are strong, so whichever one is really.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, I was thinking about sixth because it has more space in between.
Even I felt like it looked more balanced this one.
Yes, ma'am.
And I also like this.
You take the call, okay? We leave it to you.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. Come back to with concept note and do it digitally. Add a logotype to it and be ready for your presentation tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ma'am, this is Divyam. So after discussing with yesterday, I moved forward with the 3 forms which was chosen. So first of all, I removed those organic roots and the shrubs from the first form, and I did some variation with the weights and the placement of the whole the circle which is inside the whole circle inside the circle. And in the second form, so I basically also explored like the maze placement, how it should be placed, and what would be the weight of it. And in third form, I was exploring the third form, but the third form was changed so much that my original concept note, which I made for the third form, did not actually convey the proper meaning for the exploration which I was doing. So I left the third form.
Which ones do you feel have the possibility of going forward?
Ma'am, in the first form, I really like the fourth one, and in the second form, ma'am, I was thinking of going for ma'am the third one, because even there is like a labyrinth. It is very organized. In every other exploration which I've done, the labyrinth is not very organized.
My only concern with, so I like the fourth one too. It's a nicely resolved option, and I like the little stem coming. It's nice. In the second one, I just feel like when you reduce this, will it just start looking like texture versus a labyrinth? Like is it possible to make the labyrinth in such a way that when you reduce it, it still comes across as a labyrinth and doesn't get lost?
Okay, ma'am, that I have to check digitally.
Also, like, do you feel like the two shaded forms kind of draw your eye more than the labyrinth itself because the line weight is a little feeble?
Yes, ma'am.
So I feel like that. I think it has the scope to look far more balanced. I think because right now I feel like it's kind of left heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow I also really like this parent form. This one. There's something about it which is spontaneous and playful and at the same time has movement. There's something that I still really like about it.
Okay, ma'am.
I don't know, maybe having some players' feedback might help. I think this one for sure. I think this is kind of well resolved and interesting. I think I'm just in that mood today.
All
Are you seeing something else?
Yeah, definitely. I'm seeing a man showing his biceps.
Where?
Yeah, in all of these.
What?
The head of a person with hands risen and showing the biceps.
Oh, like this?
Yeah, like this. I'm telling you, I'm in that frame of mind today. I'm finding it. Do you see it now after I said it?
Yeah, I guess. Oh goodness, sorry.
No, I absolutely love this. This parent form is very nice. Absolutely love this. It's just that you need to work on the thickness of the lines, whether it's going to work and reduce in size. But I remember you'd shown something along with this. You've done a few more things which I don't recall at the moment.
Yeah, those are just above. Ma'am, you are talking about the third form, right?
I'm talking about this one, the third form.
Yes,
So it won't look like a man if you take the form in which there is no dot in the center and there is like a leaf-like form. It
Or
still
maybe
looks
like because like right now, isn't it meant to be like a droplet? But I think it's like here because it's hand done, it looks like a dot.
Yes, ma'am. So the intention was to make a droplet because the eye gets guided towards the white spaces and it turns out to be a lotus.
If you don't give the space in between, no, this problem will go away. It's not there in this. See? The minute you
Okay.
give it space in between, it looks like two arms stretched out.
Okay, ma'am.
In all your options, there is this problem except this.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
So, ma'am, I'll go with the two forms which you have chosen. Ma'am, should I also go for the labyrinth one?
Labyrinth one. Which one is the labyrinth one?
The labyrinth one was the middle one. Do you feel like you can resolve it in such a small time frame?
Ma'am, only when I create it digitally, only then we can see if it stays as a labyrinth or it becomes a texture.
Even if it becomes a texture, it's still interesting. So you take a decision.
I think basically it has to balance those two shaded parts.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, I'll work on that.
Okay. Yeah, then I think you can take all three forward.
Okay, ma'am.
Oh, ma'am, our group is done. I'll stop sharing.
Next group.
Ma'am, Priya here. So can I share Like, I am from group 5.
Go ahead without wasting it. I'll just pick up.
Ma'am, can you see the screen? When my parent form was this 24th one, and then I explored
24th. Which one's 24th? Sorry, I couldn't see. 24th.
Ma'am, can you see now?
Yeah, I can see now. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So I explored more on that.
Okay. Can you show us the other options also which you had earlier?
Yes, ma'am, sure. So, ma'am, the other one was 25th, but only the first circle of the 25th exploration. And then the other one was 30th one, which is the architectural form of the Nirma's building. And also, ma'am told me if I want to explore the 33rd one. So, I did also that one.
So basically, you've not explored all that way.
No, ma'am, I have. I have explored.
Make the screen smaller so that we can see all of them together. All 4 options.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, stay here. Stay.
Yes, ma'am.
I like this last idea of yours, but I'm just worried about how these will be visible and you will reduce them in size. That's something that you need to resolve.
Maybe I can increase the negative space a
Increase the
little more.
negative space and try this also. Can you just one second? For example, the way you've treated the negative space here, you've extended it to the outer space. Similarly, you can do this here also. Here with the arrows also. Let the arrows touch the edges.
Okay.
So this will also safeguard it a little visually. Even this,
Yes, ma'am.
Everywhere. So, and also increase the thicknesses. I like the playfulness of this. It's very interesting and I love this absolutely. These 2 are my favorite. The way you resolved.
Okay. So, ma'am, I have...
Even this one's this is also developing quite well. So you have a lot of good options. You can also try the reverse in this. The arrows are white and the circle part is black. You can try the reverse also.
Okay, ma'am, I can do that. So, ma'am, I had this confusion where, like, in this option, should I go for this, like, the wider pillar or this one?
So when you're exploring, try and remove that and see how it looks.
Okay, ma'am, okay. So, should I go with this 3 final?
In one of these, you can remove both of them and see how they look. So basically, it's about exploring the form now.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So
all 3 of them are interesting, and now it's about digitizing. So I think it will be faster.
Yes, ma'am. So I'll go with this 3.
Ask ma'am also. She's also here.
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's nice how you've taken it forward from yesterday. Yeah, I think I agree.
Okay, ma'am. So I'll go with these 3 forms.
Sounds good. Okay, nice. Next, very nice. I love the last idea a lot.
Yes, ma'am. I'll explore that.
All three you need to explore and present tomorrow with a strong concept note and make sure yours gets selected. That's what you have to fight for tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Mansi, are you here?
Yes, I'm. Can you give me just a minute? Actually, I'm having connection issues. Just a minute.
So we'll take the next student. Next group.
Okay, sure, ma'am.
Ma'am, group 2 can choose.
I'm group 1.
So group 1, quickly. Let's start with group 1.
Okay.
Is my screen visible?
Yeah, go ahead, present.
Yes, ma'am. So I've written a concept note for all the three forms. So the first one, the two solid Ds convey a very strong and bold personality overall. Being completely filled with a hollow circular counter adds up to an element of interest. The hollow is representative of something moving inside, making it unusual, quirky, and creative. The overlap of things and counters make it feel like a collaboration, resulting it to feel like a strong and reliable base, which is one of the key characteristic of the design association with the parent brand. So I've explored with the counter forms, the placement, the size of the counter form we discussed yesterday. So I took the one that we selected. So these 6 are the explorations for that. Then I have the second form. So the logo is simple and clear with a solid geometric D, making it professional, bold and balanced. The smooth curves make it feel friendly, positive and approachable. The simple shift of the counterform made into a circle gives it a unique and creative character, yet stable and reliable. The combination of two geometric similar elements represents collaboration of ideas and perspectives, which backs up for the academic potential of the brand. So for that, these were my explorations. Then for the third form, the logo has two Ds overlapped, fully dominated by a solid fill connoting collaboration, strong concrete foundation, which resonates with the design's curriculum of the brand. The vertical stripes direct the eye through the curve of the outer D, connoting positivity. The progression of line towards top right connote growth and the thriving aspect of the brand. The straight vertical line also convey discipline. Overall, the logo appeals to be professional, yet approachable due to its solid curvy form. There is balance since the underlying structure was made with a circle, which is also a denotative of the brand's inclusivity, strength, and commitment. No break and shape, no break in the shape, and no sharp edges make it reliable and bold.
Are you done separately?
Yes, ma'am.
Which ones do you think have the possibility to go forward?
The first one in the second row.
Okay.
The fourth in the first row. And the last one in the last row. But the last one in the last row, I'm not too sure about it. because of the width of the stripes.
I think that can be worked out.
Yeah.
I'm actually in agreement with you. Those are the ones I also felt had a strong possibility. So there is something about the first one in the first row that I like as well. I'm not really sure why, but I think just visually it's interesting to me. However, I think the dot, that I think not closing it off and having it merge with that negative space is interesting. I think in all of them, you have to work out, how does it work in reduction? The lines start disappearing at some point.
Yeah.
But the ones you said, I feel are quite balanced and interesting.
Okay.
Thank you. You're on mute.
I still like this one a lot. And this one, the one which is right in the center. I can't get my eyes off both of these. It was still my favorite. Can you just reduce the size so that we can see what you've done yesterday?
Yes, ma'am. Just a minute.
Just stay still. Somewhere, this continuity of line to the other form is adding a lot of interest. The dot is too small to be visible, so that can be worked out. But this continuity, this is adding also a lot of interest. Even this one, because of this line, it gives a clear definition to the second D, which I thought is missing. So I'm looking now at this form separately, which is like a very sharp form, and this D separately. But here the continuity of this D makes it interesting. Even here. It is a single D, but it makes it interesting. So what I would suggest is, while you go ahead with some of these 8 and 9, some of these were the definition of D, like the first one. You digitize this and present to us.
Which ones?
The first one. I thought this first one is interesting. Even this one's interesting. Even here where the D, the vertical lines are in both.
Yeah.
So these ones you digitize and then take a call and then eliminate and present 2 or 3 of them.
Okay.
I see the dot that you're putting here will not be visible in all of these. These are too small. So the dot idea works best in the 8th and the 9th that you presented today.
Yeah.
Because here it's very strong and stable.
Yeah.
So when it's in the center, it holds the attention beautifully. When the counter is shifted, again, it's very interesting twist to what we are used to seeing. So for me, 8 and 9 are still my favorite, but some of these ideas in the first row and the third row, I think the ones which were presented yesterday still I feel are stronger.
Okay. Vivek, are you there?
Yeah, I am, yeah. Can you zoom in? On the first image. the image before this. Yes, ma'am. So basically, I worked on the yesterday's exploration again after getting the feedback. I'll just read the concept note once again. So basically, the explorations portray breaking out of the box, signifying breaking out of the traditional way of thinking. And it also portrays the notion of thinking out of the box. The circles that are breaking out are the thoughts and the minds of the people. I portrayed this idea by depicting a sense of entropy and disorder in the visual, as it is the first stage a design student has to go through to achieve some order and uniformity in the final outcome. And it also depicts the brand personalities of thriving and academic potential. I tried breaking away again from the NU-DOD initials, and I made it slightly abstract, which puts it more on the avant-garde style. And I also tried adding a layer of connotation to it. It also can be identified as one of the quirks of the design department, which is thinking out of the box. And also breaking away also can portray the energeticness of the department and the open-mindedness. So these are the explorations that I've done. I tried putting it in a positive direction this time. Last time it was going downwards, but I tried making the balls go upward, the circles go upwards, like burst out upwards, so that there's a sense of growth that is taking place and progress that is taking place. And I tried it in different ways. I tried adding action lines to it to show that it's in motions, and I also tried without action line to keep it clean. So these are the ones I did till now. Can you go to the next image? Then ma'am, this one also I tried working on it after the feedback. Basically, the edges were sharper last time, so I tried to radii manipulate the edges to make it a little softer. And again, I'll just repeat the backstory behind this. So the visual basically shows the backstory basically is that a sample size of 4 people were given a task, which was to fit anyone to cover all the sides of the edges using only one shape of the square. So in the sample size, the 3 people were laymen and 1 was a designer. All the 3 laymen used a square to cover the samples, square to cover the edges, whereas the designer used a circle. So this shows how the designers think out of the box, and in the visual, as we can see, the designer's outcome is taking away all the emphasis, and the layman's outcomes are fighting for attention. I also tried using the rule of thirds to make the circle be read first when someone looks at the image. And I also tried to keep it in balance and symmetry to not exaggerate the thinking out of the box mentality also. Again, I tried to break away from the NU-DOD initials and abided by the abstract avant-garde approach in this. These are the explorations I did for this. I'm still exploring more on this, like how I can break away more from the sharpness.
You are on mute.
So these were the only 2 options you had Vivek yesterday?
Yes, ma'am. The first one was looking more like the medical logo, so I left it like that only, ma'am. I didn't want that.
I remember that session. Okay. I absolutely love your thought process in the first idea, and so many explanations.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the whole idea is moving out of the box. And I love that treatment of the linear treatment of the box and very suggestive treatment of the box with these circles emerging out of the box.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, visually, we need to narrow down to a couple of them, which you think are working the best and which can be explored. So, mark those. Which ones do you think
Ma'am,
you want to come?
from what I felt, I think number 13 can do the job because there is entropy, a lot of entropy being formed in the visual. A lot of breakage and a lot of popping out, jumping out is seen. So I thought that could work. And I think number 26 could also, 26 and 27 could also work for the same reason.
In fact, I like quite a few of them visually as well as conceptually meeting the the explanation that you just gave.
Yes,
For me, number 30 also is working quite well. In fact, quite a few. I don't like the ones in which the size of these circles are same or similar. Like, for example, this takes away the variety and it doesn't have that motion.
Yes, ma'am.
So what you do is, because you have so many of them, what you can do is you can first start eliminating the ones which are not working at all. Like 14 is not working at all. I'm just giving you an example.
Yes, ma'am.
Or this one is not working at all. Okay. Then you also have to see the thickness of the box that you're saying is a box. So these lines, would they be visible when you reduce them in size? So that also that you need to work out. So the way to go about should be that you start eliminating.
Yes, ma'am.
So once you start eliminating, then you would be left with some of them. You can also consider one or eliminating those which are clearly forming a face,
Yes,
a smiley.
yes, ma'am.
So there are 2-3 of them which I can see which are forming a smiley. So start removing those, and then you will end up with a couple of them from which you can choose.
Yes, ma'am.
And you also have to make, like for example, the way the treatment is in line, this starts to look like a hut also. And if that's not the intent, so based on, like, this looks like a face to me, this looks like a face to me. So 2 eyes, a nose and a smiley. 2 eyes, a nose and a smiley. So based on this, you start eliminating and then you'll come down to some options. It will be easier to choose, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
Also consider ones in which there are more than 3 circles. That can also be one of the considerations. So see if adding one more circle adds more value or takes away.
Yes, ma'am. I'll give that a try.
And the next one, can you move to the next page? You can take Hazel's feedback before we can move forward.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, 26 and 27 jumped out at me mostly because I feel like there's movement, it conveys an idea really well. With the 13th one, I feel like there's a very awkward kind of negative space being formed. So I think it's very important to look at the white space in relation to your form as well. And I think the ones that are stronger are the ones where there is hierarchy, there is a playfulness, there is some kind of dynamism, and the white space is more kind of relating more to the space outside rather than forming a weird kind of shape inside.
Yes, ma'am.
I think the rest I won't repeat because I think I'm covered.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you're giving feedback, Hazel, you can continue.
appreciate your thought process with it. I like how you build a narrative around everything.
Yes, ma'am.
I think the first row is the strongest to me, especially maybe 1, 2, 3. I think because the second row onwards, it starts to look like a very tribal man figure, like a
Yes, ma'am.
figure.
Yes, ma'am.
But I feel like the first row is compositionally, the first 3 compositionally very interesting. I think especially the first one. Even because you have parts of your square cut out interestingly with circular forms, like you have these nice edges. So, which ones do you think were?
Ma'am, I thought if I go with the complete straight edges one, then the square one would work. And I thought I can go with the ones, the treatment I've given to the ones in the third row, like for number 13 or number 10. I thought, what if I can, what if I just rotated it the same way as I've done in the first row, then maybe I can work around with that too.
I wonder what would happen if you rotated the entire square maybe 90 degrees, and what if it was to 45 degrees, and what if it was to stand on its the point, etc.
Ma'am, I tried that possibility also in the last row. So
Maybe I think this is more stable.
which one, ma'am?
I think for me, still the first row.
First row.
Now it's one thing if you rotate the entire, like you to change the orientation of it to actually become like a diamond thing. A rhombus thing.
Yes, ma'am. I can give that a try, ma'am. I can explore that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I again agree with you that there is a strong human form which is getting created. So there's a head, there is a body, the middle part, and then there are 2 legs like that. And then here there are 2 hands as well. I'm seeing these funny things today. So some strange.
This one even has some.
So you also see, yeah. So there is a human form which is avoidable. For that reason, yes, I agree that the first row is the strongest. My only contention with the first row is that the corners are over chamfered. You can maybe try some options which are less chamfered.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a little bit. Maybe that will give it a totally different feel.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's my only contention with. And now I think you can take it digitally and try one with a rhombus also and see for yourself whether it's working.
Yes, ma'am. I'll try that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But nice. I love the way you tell the story.
Thank you, ma'am.
Excellent. Both of these are very strong options conceptually. Visually, the other one, I think the box is too linear. So you have to reduce it, take a print, whichever that you're zeroing down, take a print and see whether it's working in smaller size or not. For me, because there are so many options, I'm not being able to at the moment, and they're all so close together, I'm not being able to separate from one from the other. So I'm not being able to point out for you, okay, this is the one you should go ahead with at the moment.
Yes, ma'am.
Because they're placed so close together with very little white space around it. So I'm not being able to see it without entering into the territory of the other one.
Yes, ma'am.
So maybe when you are eliminating, after eliminating, you will come down to some 6 or 7. You place them a little far away from each other, and then you will also be able to take a better visual decision.
Yes, ma'am. I'll give that. Yes, ma'am.
So you have a lot of decisions to make, because in this second one it is clear. In the first one you have to decide
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, ma'am, Stuti here. I tried exploring. I was trying exploring, but my pen ink died, so I wasn't able to color and color some explorations, and I was struggling with it. But in some of these, I took this forward after yesterday's feedback. I tried showing the cross thing, which brings more color, and I have thickened these lines too.
There is something that, yeah, these are all very nice explanations. There's one more thing that I would want you to try, which is that if the idea is that this and this is D or D, instead of these being all same, the outside squares all being same, can we add a little variety? Like if we have one like this, and then we add one like this here, and this one comes here, and this one comes here. So what you get is a lot of variety also.
Ma'am, but I think it will bring more variation, and it won't be professional. I thought that's why I didn't try it.
See, it will give you a lot of visual variety, which is what design is about. It's about trying new things, it's about exploring, it's about variety.
Yes, I'll give it a try.
Give it a try. Because see, if you've been present throughout the day, you would notice that there are many options in which are similar to this, within a square. But the minute you add variety to it, it becomes more dynamic, it adds more movement to it, becomes more lively, more energetic. So only for that reason, I want you to at least try one.
Okay, ma'am, I'll try. And I also tried. I took this forward. I'm still exploring in this, but I think the first one with all the shapes will come out really well once it gets inked.
Yeah, I feel so too. I love the way with the basic shapes, the one with the basic shapes. The only thing is कि इसमें और थोड़ा सा dynamism आ सकता है. Like for example, if you try this when you're exploring this commons, you were to have a triangle here. Sorry. So can you just undo these annotations?
Yes, ma'am. This too, the triangle.
So अगर ये movement है, either is a straight line में, instead of this ending like this is a straight line. If you were to give it some more, same simple, add like a square here and a circle here, and then this of course is a pencil which gets filled in. So what happens is that it gets a very sort of asymmetrical kind of a feel. So try that also. I prefer the one which doesn't have the letters in it. The one with the basic shape, I think, is my preference over these.
Okay, ma'am. I'll explore this further.
Yeah, hazel over G.
Can you scroll up a little bit?
Sorry, ma'am, I couldn't hear you.
Can you scroll up a little bit?
Yes.
I put it quite like the center of the city. I feel like, the lines are radiating in all different directions, and I quite like that. I think there's a lot of visual interest there. I think, again, you just have to see how this works in reduction. And, do you need so many lines? I don't know. Like, does it work better with maybe, thicker lines but lesser lines? I think it's interested in seeing. Also, the part of the square with the D is intersecting the square. You have these very thin lines. I think that also you'll have to work out. But overall, very interesting form, I think. I agree with Kanupriya on the one where the shapes are forming the pencil kind of thing that you have. The only place where I feel like it's looking a little imbalanced is where you have that rectangle on the right side. I feel like, the left looks heavier than the right. So I think that it'll be interesting how you figure that out.
Yes, ma'am. I'll try some other shapes and things in this.
Yeah. Like, what if there was a triangle that was, inverted but kind of matching up to that, and something in between?
Okay, ma'am. I'll try.
Yeah, try it out. It's a very interesting.
Yes, ma'am.
So now digitize, write a concept note and present tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, this is Khilari there. Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Kanupriya, the students who finish, should they go home?
I think most of them have left reason. Only 22 are present. In the morning, there were about 40.
Okay, ma'am. So this is Akhil. So after yesterday, 3 of my forms were selected and I further explored on that. So the first one, I even tried to attach some of the shapes and give it a proper circle form by just making the book flip element a bit more wider and bigger. And even I flipped it accordingly. And in the second one, I tried to flip the bottom one so that it will get the same orientation as the first one. So I did that, and I did a couple extra by splitting all 4 forms. Stuti, can you zoom in just a little? And in the third one, I just played with the thickness and orientation of that. But then the third one at the end, it kind of looks like the same logo that the seniors have made. So I dropped that idea.